Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide, and we get over to the Celtics now. Big game tonight, Wednesday night, against the Cavaliers. And it looks like this game will be a game for probably the number one seed. Right now, the Celtics, I believe, are tied. I think they're tied with the Cavs, because the Cavs were half a game behind, and then the Cavs beat the Magic last night, so I think they're tied.
Okay.
Tristan Thompson out tonight for the Cavs, so there's some size that might hurt the Cavs. Who you want to give us your pick? We'll do those later in the Salt Hill Pub picks of the week. But does this Celtics team have a legit shot to get the number one seed, or is this kind of the Cavs can turn it on when they want?
I think they have a legit shot. This Celtics team is very young, very fast, really good on defense, and they've kind of been the Cavaliers' kryptonite at times. So the Celtics definitely have a shot. I think the Cavs really, almost every time they play the Celtics, they should beat them.
Right.
But the Celtics have risen to the occasion. Isaiah Thomas has been huge in the fourth quarter against them, and really their defense, all these young guys, these draft picks that they've made throughout the years, these young guys can really D up LeBron. I think is it Avery Bradley or Marcus Smart who plays LeBron? Avery Bradley,
okay. I think he's one of their better defenders, so
Yeah.
I would imagine they match him up. And he's got some size, and LeBron's a big guy. So.
Yeah, he is. And to me, LeBron, he's the best player in the world.
Right.
But the Celtics, they have done a very good job of shutting him down. So the Celtics have a legit shot. It's going to be tough, but they've done it before. So
Right, and that's the thing. They've done it before, so that gives them some confidence. And there's some young guys on the team, obviously, as you mentioned. And it almost seems like everyone's crowning the Cavs as the Eastern Conference champs. And even though they've had this stretch of some bad games and they've had some injuries, and they do have Kyrie Irving, who's a heck of a player. They have LeBron, who's obviously the best player. But it's interesting. If you get to the playoffs, and it's a 7-game series, Cavs will probably be favored if they face the Celtics. But this Celtics team, they just don't seem to go away.
Right.
We thought after the trade deadline, they didn't make any trades. Toronto made some trades. Washington made some moves. The Cavs obviously made some moves. Andrew Bogut got hurt.
Right.
But they've come right back, and they played just as well over these last month and a half as anybody.
Yeah, they have. What's the guard they got from? I'm trying to think. Former All-Star guard.
Did the Celtics got?
No, the Cavs got.
So they have. Yeah, I'm trying to think who they picked.
got,
I mean, I knew
the
they picked
deadline,
up Bogut.
They signed somebody.
Yeah,
for
they
super
did sign
cheap.
someone, but I can't remember the name. Yeah,
He used to be on the Nets.
We'll have to check that during the break.
But they did get a number of good pieces at the deadline, and I know the Celtics didn't. They didn't do anything at the trade deadline, and a lot of people kind of frowned upon that. But Danny Ainge just said, this isn't the right time to deal away anybody. We've got a pretty solid team, and right now, I mean, it's turned out great. They're tied for number one, so.
So what do you think? What do you think the expectation should be? Going into this season, everyone figured, hey, if they can make a run and win some games, win 50 games, win a playoff series, they'll be fine.
Yep.
But now, the way they've played so well, it almost seems like the expectations have been ratcheted up. Now, is anything short of an Eastern Conference Finals appearance? Like, if they get bounced in the second round by the Raptors or the Wizards, is that a failed season, or is it almost like we're still ahead of schedule, so you can't really blame them?
I think, to me, if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, the championship, I think you could consider it a failed season. I know a lot of people would look at Danny Ainge and say, you didn't get a rebounder, you didn't get somebody to grab some boards, because that's one area they've struggled. But I think Danny Ainge looks at this as, to him, the ceiling is probably the Eastern Conference Finals. You lose to the Cavs, and even if you beat the Cavs, you either got to play the Spurs or Golden State, and you're not going to beat either of them. So to me, Danny Ainge just really looked toward the future and is saying with this team, good luck.
Right, get in there, win a couple rounds, and we'll be good. Yep. The one thing that worries me about the Celtics team in the playoffs is they have such a big bench, bench, a lot of depth. They're rotating guys in and out. But in the playoffs, that's kind of mitigated because you have days off. You go maybe 6 or 7 guys deep. So does that we got to kind of remember that and say, the reason the Celtics are winning so many games is because they're going 8, 9 guys deep. But in the playoffs, that advantage is negated. So does that kind of put them in a little bit of a hole?
I think it definitely cancels that out a little bit. Bench guys like Kelly Olynyk and all these guys have come in and just done such a nice job. But like you said, with the rest you get in between games, I think it does, kind of cancel their depth out. But it doesn't hurt. Obviously, you have guys who can step up if somebody gets injured or something. But I think it definitely takes away that advantage.
Right, I'd rather have it than not have it, but
sure.
it's not as big of an advantage as it is in the regular season. So, Cavs and Celtics tonight. We'll make a pick for that game on our Salt Hill Pub Picks of the Week next segment. And also next segment, we'll get into some Patriots talk. It looks like Butler Garoppolo might be staying for next season. We'll take a break. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.